Hey guys, it's Joe from American Muscle, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Borla Stinger S-Type axle back exhaust with black chrome tips, fitting all 18 and newer GTs without the active exhaust option. Now, this is going to be a great option for you if you're looking for a high-quality blackout axle back exhaust that is going to bring more volume and some muscle car rumble. Now, as you guys just heard, this is definitely going to be an upgrade over stock, right? There's no question that you've done a little bit of work to the exhaust on your Mustang, but it's not enough to drive you crazy. There's no drone whatsoever with these. Because of that, I'm going to give it a strong 3 out of 5 on our Wake the Neighbor scale. Little bit of raspiness, little bit of a pop, sort of a burble in there as well. For me, the Stinger hits a sweet spot. I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree with me as well. Now, these are made out of 304 stainless steel throughout. You also have some mandrel bends as well as TIG welds, which is all really high quality stuff. That stainless steel, usually the highest grade stainless you'll see for an exhaust system. That's going to keep you sounding good and looking good for years to come. Definitely a consideration if you live in an area that has some snowy winters. When there's salt on the road, that is going to pay dividends for sure. It's a little bit of extra money up front, but definitely worth it. Mandrel bends, they're also a great feature of the high quality build here. That's gonna make sure that this doesn't crimp up on the inside radius of the bend. It's gonna be nice and smooth throughout the length of the bend, and that's gonna help you out with exhaust flow, making sure those exhaust gases escape as fast as possible. Exactly what you want out of an exhaust kit. This system is gonna end in some 4-inch black chrome quad tips. They're rolled and slash cut. They're also embossed with the Borla logo on top, and on our triple blackout vert here, these are the perfect cherry on top. If you're going for a blackout look, these are gonna be a perfect fit. Now, if you're not going for the blackout look, Borla definitely does have you covered. Rather than the black chrome, these are also available in a polished finish to better match those chrome accents. There's also a catback version available if you're just looking to get that much more volume out of your exhaust system. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing. It's gonna fall right around that $1,000 mark, which makes these a little bit more expensive, relatively speaking, to the rest of the axle back market, but there's no question why these are so popular. You get that high build quality, you get that high quality sound. Also, these are backed with a 1,000,000-mile warranty and made right here in the USA as well. Before we move on to the install, a couple of things I do want to make a quick note on. This kit is only intended to work with the non-active exhaust cars. If your Mustang does have that option, we have plenty of choices for you. However, this is not the one. Also, we're working on a convertible today, so there's a little bit of extra chassis bracing underneath of the Mustang that does get in the way a little bit, but it's a great opportunity for us to highlight why you might go with an axle back like this one rather than the full-on catback. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. There is a little bit of cutting involved, but nothing that's too intense. You should be able to get this done in a couple hours. So without any further ado, let me show you what tools you'll need and how it's done. Tools we use for this install will include an impact, 15mm socket, saw, Sharpie, tape measure, some safety glasses, and lastly, to clean up our cut, a die grinder with the sanding pad. So if you've ever been under an S550 catback, things might look a little bit different under this S550 convertible. You can see we have this big brace right here. That's not gonna be on the fastback, only on the convertibles. Reason being is when you cut the roof off, you lose a little bit of structural integrity. The car tends to be a little bit less rigid. We have a heavy IRS back here. We have a Coyote motor at the front, and you can't connect those two with just a floorboard. So when you chop the roof off, you have to add some more structural integrity. Usually that's in the door sills. On the S550, you also get this big brace right here. It's held on with a bunch of 15mm bolts. It runs all the way up to the front. Now, you can remove this if you want. but this is basically why you might go with an axle back setup if you have a convertible. We're gonna be cutting behind this. This is not going to get into our way at all. However, if you do want to do a whole exhaust, you have to remove this. So without any further ado, we're gonna knock on the safety glasses here, grab the Sawzall, head over to our mufflers, and get cutting. So in this shot, we're gonna be working on the passenger side exhaust right behind the muffler. This tube right here, this is gonna come out of the rear of your muffler. You can see it makes that 90-degree bend there. We're gonna make our cut right after that straightens out. You could actually see where this was clamped down by the pipe bender right there. I'm gonna go in just a hair. And we're gonna make that mark basically straight back. You wanna make sure you're completely clear of this radius and you have a nice flat, clean cut. And then our axle back is going to clamp right onto that. Now with that cut made, all you have to do is drop that down a little bit, and that is gonna back right out of the hanger. Now we're just gonna take a die grinder, clean up the edges a little bit, and do the same thing for the other side. So now that we have our factory mufflers removed from our Mustang, now is the perfect time to grab our Borla stingers, bring them up on the table next to the factory stuff, and point out some key differences between these two, basically what is gonna make that stinger so much better. But before we do that, let's talk a few similarities, and there are a few. First things first, these are both made out of stainless steel. However, there's a difference in grade, and you can tell that by the surface rust here. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Also, these are both gonna feature mandrel bends, which is great for exhaust flow. That is exactly what you want. It's gonna make sure the exhaust gases escape as fast as possible, like I said earlier. Now the differences here, the biggest one is going to be the actual muffler itself. We're ditching this big restrictive muffler here, basically muting that Coyote motor, and we're opening it up a little bit with one of the classics, the Borla S-type stinger. This is one of the best mufflers, in my opinion, out there available for the Coyote, and it definitely shows during the sound clips. Another huge difference, it's gonna be the quality of the stainless steel. Now, Ford uses the 304 grade only for the tips. That's a little bit more high quality. It's never gonna surface rust like this. They use a lower quality stainless steel 409 for the actual muffler itself, and you can see that this is developing a little bit of surface rust. So again, higher quality for the tips, lower quality stainless for the actual muffler. That is not the case with our Borla. This is gonna use full 304 stainless throughout. Like I said earlier, that's pretty much the best you'll ever see on an exhaust system nowadays. It's never gonna develop any of this surface rust. It's gonna last great in the winter time, and it's gonna be looking good and sounding good for years to come, like I said earlier. Now, one thing about 304 is it does like to discolor a little bit with heat, but you're never gonna see that. This muffler is gonna be nice and tucked up under our Mustang. Now, one thing you will see though is gonna be these quad tips. We're upping the diameter a little bit. Each of these tips is 4 inches over the factory stuff, which is 3.5. So you get a lot bigger of a tip there that really adds up in the area that those tips are gonna take up. And secondly, we're ditching that chrome styling in exchange for the black chrome. And that is a really nice touch. Like I said earlier, it's gonna match great with our triple black convertible. So that is pretty much gonna be it in terms of similarities and differences between these two sets of mufflers. We're gonna grab our S-type, grab the couple clamps that come included in the kit. We're gonna head back and get these guys strapped up. So now you can see I have the muffler, and on the right side of it, I went ahead and applied that hanger isolator. On the left side over here, we also have a clamp with the nut pointing down and toward the back of the car. All that we have to do now is get this in place on our cut pipe. And then we could swing that muffler up. And that hanger isolator is going to hook right back into the top. And it might take a little bit of wiggling around, but we're just going to bolt that right back in. Before we go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, we have to clamp our two pipes together. I'm just going to turn this up and out of the way, get a little bit more clearance, and then we could hammer that down with a 15mm socket. That's going to do it for my review and install of the Borla Stinger S-Type axle back exhaust with black chrome tips, fitting all 18 and newer GTs without the active exhaust system. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Keep it right here at American Muscle for all things Mustang.